Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 2 of Intervention. Enjoy. Hawks had tried to keep up with you, but you were one of those people he just couldn't keep his eyes or feathers on. You always managed to get away at some point. Where's she gone off to? He slowed his flight and sent his feathers ahead. I don't think she'd hide from me. Maybe she's gone back to the agency to finish the paperwork. Oh, that's right. She said she needed to finish that. I'll go and corner her in her office. And with that final thought, he took off back to your agency to bail you up and find out if you were okay. Alighting lightly on the front doorstep of the agency building, he casually entered and greeted your co-workers. Hey, he said to one of the women who worked closest with you. Here to chase up Yin. Has she come back yet? Sorry, Hawks, I haven't seen her. She might be in her office though, she replied with a polite smile. I don't think things between her and her boyfriend are good at the moment. I know he's not the nicest, but this seems a little more than just a disagreement this time. Hawks hummed, not wanting to give away what little information he already knew. I'll go and check up on her, he added, pushing his hands into his pockets and heading off down the hall to your office. Your office door was closed, so he knocked on it, feeling for the vibrations coming from you from the other side of the room by spreading his wings out a little. But all was quiet on the other side. Is she using a quirk? He wondered. Being snake-esque, you were one of the very few people that could almost go undetected by Hawks. If you stayed very still, he couldn't sense you were there. Yin? Hawks asked, knocking again. You in there? I'm not here to harass you, I promise. He felt again, and then sent 2 feathers in under the door to check, but was fairly sure that you weren't there. Recalling his feathers, he turned and left, trying to figure out where you could have gone. You kept your head down as you walked that last little way to the bar at the end of town. The usual, you said to the bartender as you sat at the end of the bar top, in the shadows, and waited for your drink. The guy slid it towards you on the counter, and you caught it, then jerked your head back while raising the shot glass, swallowing the contents in one quick gulp. Another one, you said in a dull voice as you dropped the now empty glass back down on the table. Tough day, huh? The bartender chuckled. Okay, another one coming up. Keeping his head down and scars covered with a black hoodie, Darby walked the back streets as the sun set and the sky turned from dark blue to black. He wasn't on a mission or anything, just out for the night to clear his head. The cool of the evening had always calmed him. Suddenly he felt like someone or something was coming up behind him fast, and he ducked and spun around, crouching down and throwing his left arm out to detonate a round of hot blue flames. You've gotten sloppy, the voice of Hawks taunted him as the bird-like figure whipped overhead, dodging the spiralling flames easily. Shut up, you overgrown chicken nugget, Darby growled as he stood up and turned to glare at Hawks with his cool turquoise eyes. Stop, you're making me hungry, Hawks smirked. What do you want, bird feed for brains? Darby asked blandly, hands now back in his pockets. Looking for Yin, can't find her. She's not at work and she's not in her home, Hawks said casually. Has she been in contact with you? No, Darby said bluntly. Doesn't surprise me. She would have contacted me first, before you anyway, Hawks leered, baiting Darby. Is that so? That's the reason why you can't find her, because you're so close, Darby teased back. She's always liked me more than you. I think your flames burnt your brain, Hawks replied. You're suffering from memory loss. Clearly she liked me more. Anyway, Buttercup, would love to stay and chat, but I got things to do, Darby said, shoving his hands further in his pockets and turning to walk away. Are you going to look for her? Hawks called out. Why would I be looking for her? Find yourself if you're so worried, Darby called back, heading to the bar that he knew that you would go to when you were in one of those moods. Hawks smirked. Well, he'll do the search at that end of town, so I'll search at the other end, he thought as he took to the skies again. You were about 5 drinks in and the world was starting to feel a little warm and fuzzy, but it just made you feel worse. A few more and then I won't be able to feel a thing. You downed the last of that drink and then raised your hand again. Hey, the bartender said in as gentle a voice as he could muster, given that the Thursday night crowds were swarming into the bar in droves and the volume levels were shooting up. I think you'd better make that your last. I'm still fine, you lied to the 2 of them, keeping your head as straight as you could despite the bar spinning and him going into doubles and back. He hummed, looking you over. Okay, last one. You might need to give it a rest for a bit. You nodded, but you didn't really want to stop. That wasn't what you'd planned. Hawks checked over the furthest end of town but couldn't find you anywhere. She wouldn't be using a quirk for this long. Surely if she was around here I'd be able to find her. He scrunched his nose with annoyance. The fierce winged hero was starting to get a little agitated and worried. Why had you gone completely incognito? Turning around, he flew back to your house to look for more clues. He was now on a mission to find you. Dabi kept his head down, walking purposefully towards the end of town, his mind going over everything that had been said between him and you over the years. He knew that Hawks liked you, but he liked you too, and he felt like you and he connected on a level that Hawks and you never could. I hate these stupid scales, you'd said to him one day at the training facility. They're ugly. As ugly as my scars, Dabi had asked. No, worse. At least yours have character. Mine are just plain ugly, you had replied. At least yours are related to your quirk, not a product from your body not being suited for your quirk, he had replied morosely. You do realise I wasn't born with a quirk? My parents sent me to a lab, and then when it all went wrong, the lab sent me away, but my parents didn't want me because of these. You pointed to the scales around your elbow and face. They're the reason no one wants me. Funny, because I failed my father too. Wasn't good enough, so he sent me away. You looked at him, feeling his pain. Well, at least us ugly unwanteds can stick together, right? You'd said gently. Nah, Dabi had snorted, making your heart sink. Can't be the unwanteds, because someone already wants you. And with that, he'd gotten up and walked off before you could ask who. He didn't want to say it was him. Oh, there's the setup. Dabi, you crispy tsundere, we love you. Stay tuned for chapter 3 coming tomorrow. See you then.